shall be discussing or opening up the issues that we see with the banking sector in Nigeria of today. So, in the past 4 or 5 years, we've been hearing our banks, especially the Central Bank of Nigeria, talk about a situation whereby the Nigerian society can go cashless. How far with that debate of going cashless? What do we mean by going cashless? By cashless, we simply mean individuals and citizens will simply go out of their homes or houses with their ATM cards and any sort of card that allows them access to cash or money with which they can purchase things and do business with people. So, like in the US or other parts of the world, you do shopping with your ATM card or credit card. So let's say a family goes shopping in a store, buying things worth $100 or thereabouts, or even as little as $10 or five. Paying with cash, physical money is not an option. Most Americans would say about 90% of them would hardly do shopping or any sort of business with physical cash. So that's the kind of thing central bank was envisaging for our own Nigeria. But we know how far we've come with developing that thought for a cashless Nigeria. So today we see how people are trying, for those who care about going cashless, to do business or other sorts of transactions using cards. Like we have the POS, we have the transfers using the USSD codes, and all the kinds of transfers and doing shopping with your ATM card at stores and so on and so forth. But we know the problems that go with using card in Nigeria today. You use a card to purchase something as little as a call card, and a bank is charging you 25 naira just to purchase card from MTN. What sort of situation is that? You make a transfer from your phone, you are transferring your own funds in your bank account to someone, and the bank is charging you 27 naira 75 kobo for 5,050 and above for many running into 10,000 more. If you don't get me, what I'm saying is your money, you are releasing the money you kept in the bank account to someone, and the bank is charging you for using your own money. And the worst case scenario also happens whereby the person you are also transferring money to is also charged a certain fee. I sit on my own and somebody remembers me or someone owes me or something and decides to pay me, and then you charge the person paying me and you're charging me as well for sitting on my own and receiving funds. What sort of society is this? What sort of sector? We're talking about the banking sector. And they're even going down to the bad situation of just going on to withdraw money from your account. Like a situation I had yesterday. I prefer using First Bank to buy card for calls. And I've been doing that for a few weeks. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I don't do auto pay. Even in the US that I've been for a while, I don't use auto pay because I should have, me alone should have access to my money and use it when and how I feel it should be used. Not someone sitting somewhere just deducting money from my account every month or as the case may be. No, I want to be the only one that has the right to remove money because it is my money, even though many times one has to pay extra for not going on auto pay. I prefer that because that gives me the autonomy and the authority over my money. And so I do not do that even here. And all of a sudden, I get a message saying 500 has been added to my account. I never touched my phone from about 1 p.m. to about 3:45. I checked the phone and I'm seeing a message at about 3:25 saying I have a recharge of 500, and that is at the behest of First Bank. And I'm yet to make a call to them or visit one of their locations and branches to ask how that came about. I am not enrolled in auto pay for this or whatever. So how dare you remove my funds and say credit or whatever has been given to me? So this is what we are saying. Central Bank was of the opinion that we go cashless, and they know the kind of country or the kind of people they have. Many people do not even own bank accounts. They have never banked. Some have never seen an ATM card or whatever as the case may be, and you're talking going cashless in Nigeria. Fine, as beautiful as that may seem or be, today the banking sector has gone high wide, as most of you know. Let us talk about the POS matter. And I said in my introduction, the banking sector is cashing out seriously and in the process extorting citizens of their hard-earned money. POS. Do you know that all most of the POS you see around the street corners are owned by bankers? And these, I mean people working in the bank. They are the ones who give POS to those people you see on the streets. And the cash or money they are giving people are the monies that people have banked. And they are charging. You want to withdraw something like 5,000, they're charging you 150 naira or 200 from your own money. You go to the bank, you cannot access cash, or they decide the amount they want to release to you because they want you to use the POS. What sort of country is this? What sort of going cashless is this? Whereas in the process, you are extorting innocent citizens who have worked hard for their monies. Are we talking about the fact that you bank your money and many times you can't have access to it until the bank decides to let you have access to your money? It can be so crazy and funny at the same time. And it makes me wonder, these people in the banking sector, many of them have traveled worldwide and they know how banking is done. Why is it that it is only in Nigeria that things that you see happen simply and in an okay condition becomes a problem? In the US, Europe, or wherever, all a bank has or knows to do with you is that they collect a certain fee every month to service you as someone who banks with them. Like an account I have with PNC in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all I am charged every month is $7, which was just deducted some days ago. $7. And they render you the best service ever. Once you make a transfer, you collect money or do whatever, you get a text message showing you the transaction you have done. You get an email. Have you ever received an email from the bank even once a month? From most of the banks, if I may say, you withdraw a dime, they are giving you the transaction accruing from that in a text and in an email form. If you need a bank statement, you can easily or comfortably walk into any bank location and right there and then they will give you a copy of your bank statement when and as how you need it. You can go to the bank at any time and a customer service rep will attend to you whenever. Your money is always at the tip of your finger. Why would they even ever consider a POS? We say we want to grow in Nigeria and we are practically turning the economy into a backward run, the bush economy, that instead of people to be well represented by going to talk to a representative in a bank, the person who attends to you is a roadside vendor. A roadside vendor is the one that has access to your money, whereas you do not have access to your own money. Go into any street, you find POS littered all over the place. What kind of going cashless is that? Is that going cashless or you're even making more cash accessible to people? Because you can always withdraw even 100, even 200,000 naira from POS. How then are we going cashless? Why is it that anything that is said in this country, Nigeria, never goes through or sees the light of day? They will say one thing and do the worst thing. So I put it to you, dear Nigerians and fellow citizens, that what the CBN proposed would be a cashless society is simply a way that the banks are cashing out from us, extorting us of our hard-earned money. Every month they have a deduction we make, and they say it's from central bank. Why would central bank want to touch the money of a citizen? What have we got to do with central bank? Central bank is supposed to do business or work in tandem with the banks, not individual people who save money who have current accounts. No, it is the bank that has to pay a certain amount to CBN every month. It's not individual citizens as they have made it. So the banks are no longer remitting whatever to CBN. We are now the ones that remit the money on behalf of the bank. This is what we call monkey they walk, baboon they chop. You don't see that kind of thing before. I walk my ass out and somebody is reaping from where they did not sow. And then they have another one they call a quarterly money that a bank deducts from your account quarterly. And all these things people do not know about. These are things that should be outlined when somebody is opening an account so they know what they have to face as owners of accounts in banks. It is only in this country that people do not know what they are getting into, and then sign to affirm that they will go through with those things. Every month they collect this, quarterly they collect that. As soon as you transfer money, they collect. As soon as you withdraw through a POS, you pay a fee. You're only even receiving money from someone, you get a fee to pay. So at the end of the day, I may ask, what is the essence of owning a bank account? We might as well go back to the dark ages when people used to bury money on the ground, and when they need the money, they go right there to get their money. Since they no longer have access to their money, and the bank can do what they please with their money. This is so messed up, I must say. I can just go to the bank and withdraw my own money. They tell you have to withdraw only 20,000 naira at a time. Sometimes people line up from morning to evening at ATM machines and cannot have access to their own money. Why? Why is the Nigerian situation always different? Banks that should look after people's money are now the ones that pilfer that same money, cashing out at the expense of citizens. Instead of the society going cashless, the banks are cashing out from people. Hello, shadow lost. So it's a major deal for me, and there must be a deal breaker in this situation. I must add, for things to go well in this country, because almost all the sectors are collapsing. They tell us they're gonna do this and they're doing something else. Nothing seems to be working, and yet people only point accusing finger at the government. The economy is not working. Manufacturers, producers, whatever are killing people because you can't buy anything in the market. The banking sector is practically cashing out, or I use the term stealing people's money, because you have no right whatsoever to tamper with people's money the way you do. You touch your phone, you do one thing, money gets out, and you become afraid to do a lot of transaction, all in the name of cashless society. Oh, sit at your home, your room, wherever, money is at the tip of your finger. It's not true that money is at the tip of our finger. It is true that it is your money that makes money available to you, or makes money to be at your fingertips. Because if you do not have a substantial amount kept for a long time, you cannot just go through with all that you get these days from the banks. It is indeed terrible. And as I said, well, we need a deal changer. We must break and remove this kind of situation. It is a pity that these same bankers travel all over the world and know better, and yet they do differently in their own domain. Bankers, CBN, stop cashing out from innocent citizens, all in the name of going cashless. Because as of now, since 4 years ago or five, we started talking cashless. Nothing has happened in that cashless domain in Nigeria. It is simply you guys, the bankers, and especially CBN, that has been extorting us Nigerians. All this while, all in the name of going cashless. There is no cashless stuff, transaction, or anything in this country. You charge at every given opportunity, something that should be free. Not free because you are the ones offering it, but free because it is my money. No, it's got to stop one way or the other. It makes absolutely no sense. And coming from people who should be more intelligent or educated about this thing, it becomes a sad and pitying situation. This is not how banking is done in other parts of the world. Nigerian bankers. This is not how it is done in other places. We must change. We must change. I dare say. And anyone who has a contrary opinion should share it in the comment section. And while we're still at this, please subscribe to my page, comment, share the video, and let's learn more about ways to develop our country and not ways to continue going backward. CBN and our banks are cashing out instead of leading us on the path of a cashless society. Cashless society, from what we know from other parts of the world, is not deducting someone's money at every given opportunity. No, it is simply that every month someone has a service fee to pay to the bank, and that covers whatever transaction or business you do with a bank. In US, Europe, and other parts of the world, the bank does not charge you a dime when you transfer money or when you withdraw money. No, you're withdrawing your money, you have paid the bank what you need to pay them for the month. So that should suffice for them. But when the bank begins to make it difficult for you to even have access to your own money and charge you at the slightest opportunity, that becomes stealing. That is not doing cashless business. CBN and all the banks in Nigeria, you have no right stealing from people in the name of going cashless. People are the only ones who should have access to their money. Stop deducting and debiting people unnecessarily. That is stealing. There is nowhere in the world that bankers pay the central bank of any nation because we don't deal directly with central bank. It is the banks that should deal with central banks. So there's no reason whatsoever debiting us 50 naira, 100 or whatever and say it is central bank fee. It is senseless. It is childish. Childish. As of now, we don't have the cashless society in Nigeria. So let us stop sounding or acting as if anything is working in the banking sector. Banks are simply out there to make a profit to the detriment of bankers. And I wonder why we still want a bank. I wonder why we would want a bank our monies. This has really been a heart-rendering video, I must say, because I do not put this out there as your everyday normal video. As a content creator, I want to make contents that speak to the situations we find ourselves in and looking for ways daring to proffer solutions. So, what do you think, friends out there, subscribers, and so on? What can be done about this situation we have on ground or right in our hands? What do we do to obtain this bad and evil situation for the better? The banks must realize and act accordingly, like all banks in the world that they know about, to encourage more people to bank. You don't need to take their monies from them. All we need is a fee. Banks, can you people please tell us how much you want us to give you every month for the services you render us? And stop pilfering our money. Give us a monthly fee and pay you that, and so you can stop touching our money without permission. So we don't call you thieves. Let's do things the way it is done in other parts of the world. So we remain truly the giant of Africa, because as of now, we are only crippling ourselves. More suggestions I expect from you guys out there. And at this point, I must draw the curtain on this conversation we've been having this afternoon about how banks that are supposed to protect bankers are now the ones extorting them. I hope to get your feedbacks and we move on to learn great lessons from this topic we have looked at this afternoon. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Till I come my way next time, I remain your business sister and of God, who speaks what needs to be spoken as a content creator. Thank you and enjoy the weekend. As we say, thank God it's Friday. I'm out.